Democrats once again trying to rewrite the narrative on COVID-era lockdowns. The head of the nation's second-largest teachers union firing back at critics who say she flunked the pandemic. The Wall Street Journal blasting Randi Weingarten's role in pushing COVID school closures that dramatically harmed the educational progress of the nation's public school children. Weingarten responding to that piece by blaming the previous administration, quote, "No teacher I know enjoyed remote and hybrid learning, which pre-pandemic was championed by Betsy DeVos. Not one teacher relished teaching art class via Zoom to 40 pupils, 20 of them in a classroom and 20 at home." While former President Donald Trump and his education secretary, Ms. DeVos, ranted and raved, their successors put the safety measures in place to get reopening done. But Trump's former education secretary is not taking that attack lightly. Watch here.
Randi Weingarten should own up to the mistakes that they made and the way they have harmed kids and harmed families across the country. And yet all she's doing is blaming everyone else. And this is not about teachers. This is about Randi Weingarten and all of her allies who continue to control everything with the Democrat Party, 99% of their contributions going directly to Democrats to do their bidding. They have failed the American people, and they have especially failed the kids they're supposed to be serving today.
Americans agree with that last part. New national polling shows only 42% say they are completely or somewhat satisfied with K-12 education, and that's down nearly 10 points since just 2019. Do you remember, Judge, when the new administration comes in, Biden administration, and Michelle Walensky at the CDC says at a press conference that she thinks kids should go back to school? And the White House, within 24 hours, said she was speaking in her personal capacity. And then we found the emails between the union and the CDC, where the unions were urging schools to remain closed. You remember that?
Of course, I think we all remember that. So what does it tell us? It tells us that the unions wanted the schools closed. But we don't have to just look at that. We can look at the whole concept of the Democrats trying to reframe everything like, we're the law and order party now. The Republicans are not law and order, and we're all for the schools opening up. Forget the fact that President Biden has been the president for the last year and a half. What I think is interesting is that we saw parents revolt. We saw a governor get elected in Virginia because parents wanted schools open. And I asked someone to look up the lawsuits in this country where they were trying to get schools to open up. And they said, well, there are some lawsuits that are not just trying to get the schools to open up. There are some lawsuits where they want the schools closed. I said, well, let me think. I wonder who is pushing to have the schools closed. Who's suing? And you know who's suing? The teachers' unions to close the schools. So there's no question about it. Randi Weingarten and the Biden administration can rewrite history or attempt to all they want. But the truth is that our kids have suffered tremendously. They've had the money to get the schools ready. The schools are not ready. Our kids are going to lose going forward on a global scale. And after the first few months of COVID, by the way, the Catholic schools and the religious schools, the chartered schools, they were all open. So I don't know who Randi Weingarten thinks she's kidding. This is too serious an issue to blame the other guy when it's clearly Randi's fault.
They must be seen in and the union must be seen in their own polling that they're taking on water on this issue. That's why I think she fought back so hard. And also, to your point about the money, just to pull this up, Jesse, 87% of the $122 billion in COVID spending has gone unspent. American taxpayers were very generous. We said, yes, okay, you need these resources, and they didn't spend the money.
It's like the first time the government hasn't spent money. Something's up. What's my best asset?
Your hair.
Wrong.
Your hair.
It's my memory. But thank you. I remember exactly how this whole thing went down. So 15 days to slow the spread in April, mid. All the schools are out basically until summer break. Red states, blue states, that's how it went down. In the summer, the president, Donald Trump, says we need to really start reopening schools. And he got killed in the press. Democrats killed him. They said it's dangerous. You're going to kill the children. And in the fall, mostly red states opened up. Almost all of the red states opened up. And I remember DeSantis got hammered for that. And DeSantis would let the parents choose whether or not they wanted to mask or not. And a lot of the biggest blue state school districts, New York, LA, Chicago, Seattle, They didn't open up. They were all remote. And Newsom got hit for, I think, Sacramento School District was totally remote, and he was sending his kids to private school in class. And then Biden's inaugurated, and they had that little underhanded move with the union, and they said, you know what? We need vaccines if we're going to open up. And then so they jumped the line, they get vaxxed, and they still wouldn't open up. And it wasn't until the very end of the spring semester that almost all of these blue state school districts began opening it up. So Biden can't say that. You're right. It's like when they say Republicans wanted to defund the police. It's totally backwards.
It is backwards. I was going to bring up Glenn Youngkin as a warning to Democrats because not only Youngkin, but in New Jersey, you almost had upsets as well that nobody saw coming. And when you did look at the exit polls, a lot of people said education was the thing that was bothering them the most.
I don't think there's any doubt. You know, Dana, I remember when public education was a bipartisan issue. You worked for a president who partnered with the most liberal senator and probably the most effective liberal senator, if not senator of all time, Teddy Kennedy. And they passed the No Child Left Behind Act. I was in Congress at the time, and it was one of those moments where, a watershed moment in some ways, where we went after trying to figure out ways to help poor kids who, if you look at the school districts that drag down a lot of our standards, not standards, but our standing around the world, it's generally rural and urban areas where you have a heavier concentration of poor kids, and that's a problem. We're now gotten away from the bipartisanship, and I wish Randi Weingarten possessed all the power that we assign her. If she was the one that could do all the things we're saying, maybe she could just wave a wand and make everything go the other way, which I don't believe that she can. I take a little umbrage. Look, when Donald Trump was in office and Woodward quoted him saying, look, I didn't want to tell the country this thing was so bad because I didn't want to bring the economy to a halt, and people criticized the president. I didn't. I understood I kind of sensed where he was coming from. And I get a sense from where these governors and mayors and others were coming from when they wanted to go to remote schooling, because there were kids living with their parents and grandparents, and there were people who had morbidities and people who had pre-existing conditions. And although it was said that kids couldn't get really ill, if kids brought the virus home, and remember, we've come a long way in knowing about it. So I give people the benefit of the doubt in some of these things. I do hope that we learn and have learned a lot about what we did right and what we did wrong in schools, not just from how we wore masks and so forth. I think the two takeaways I have is not everyone's going to go to college. And we had this debate around this thing I didn't agree with, and I think we all were on the same page about the student loan forgiveness. We got to begin teaching kids in high school about other careers and preparing them for after high school, where they can be trained to do the things that the country needs and they can make a great living doing. And then finally, we talked a little bit about this, Jesse, before, about how some schools face real challenges on Mondays and Tuesdays with absenteeism because the kids can't clean their clothes. We need community schooling where you're able to bring services into the schools that these kids need. Frankly, my two kids, who are enormously blessed, and I love them to death, but they're enormously blessed. They have this apparatus infrastructure around them. That's what I hope we get to as well as we think about some of these really, really serious things that our kids are facing.
Sounds like, I think Harold is for the choice, the school choice.
I know.
I know you're big on that. Do you know, Martha reported today that 50,000 students didn't even return to school in LA as they came back as schools were opened.
I don't know how to.
Thoughts?
I have many thoughts. You know, even as a little person, I like to see the big picture. And the judge was talking about how the Dems are reframing law and order and education. They're reframing, and the Republicans have to be reclaiming.
Good.
In the sense that we have a contrast here between an imaginary war and a real war, right? On one side, Biden and the media are creating this psychological conflict between Trumpies and democracy, and yet when you go outside, everybody's happy, everybody's fine. Meanwhile, with actual real people, parents, there's a real battle going on. It's in education because the battle involves their kids. This is not a fabricated conflict. You know, when you have lockdowns, when you have drag shows, when did all of this happen? All of a sudden, they're just showing up everywhere in middle schools. You got the pronoun police. You got a shift from teaching to lecturing you on race. We're no longer having an emphasis on reading and writing, but on the racism of school names. So there is an actual, real, practical, fact-based conflict going on here, which is an opportunity for the Republicans to reclaim or claim their right as the parents' party. You know, say, hey, we're not going to call you domestic terrorists. We're not going to champion surgery for gender confusion. We're not going to call your kids irrevocably racist. You know, take a page out of Joe's Handbook of Fear, right? Scare the crap out of parents with facts. Make it palpable. Meanwhile, when you look at, this is going to be a very, I'm going to act like Jesse and make a broad statement. I remember when I was watching the protests after 2016 when Trump won, and I saw the protests. It was a lot of single women. It wasn't a lot of men, and the men there, they weren't exquisite specimens, let's face it. But I saw a lot of young, angry females. And the Democratic Party, in a way, has become the party of young, angry, single women, right? They place abortion before babies, right? It's their right to have convenience up to the birth. Abortion on demand up to birth. That is not a party for a family. That's a psychosis. If you think you can abort a child up to the day of birth, that's insane. That's insane. So I think the Republican Party should focus on being the party for parents. It's right there. It's a real battle. The facts are there. Do it.
Reclaim.
Reclaim.
Don't get framed.
Don't get framed. Reclaim.
Exactly.
Insane in the membrane.
Don't start rapping. We gotta go to break.
Tone Loc.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.